Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back. For those of you tuning in, thanks for staying tuned in. We're going to be doing the India Gaming Carnival IGC Grand Finals replay commentary here. We're going to have the match between Orange and Mith Trust at the controversial IGC event. We're not going to talk... Actually, yeah, we're going to get someone on to talk a bit about that. We're going to get joined by Ghosty Gamer's crew member Krock, who was actually at the event casting, so we're going to have him come join us in just a second, as hopefully he does pick up now. We're going to be getting into the replay though as well, guys. He's going to talk a bit about the tournament and also be casting the replay with me, I believe. While we wait, I will just start loading the replay, make sure everything is A-OK. But yeah, to talk about India Gaming Carnival, those of you who don't know. Just letting him know that he needs to get on now. We've got the Razer Dota 2 tournament in about 45 minutes. Well, actually, no, a bit less than 45 minutes. And we will have this. Alright, so for those who don't know, India Gaming Carnival, a tournament hosted in India. And it basically featured a lot of local Indian teams as well as a couple international teams, namely Orange Esports and Mith Trust. As we are going to be looking at the grand finals. Orange and Mith Trust both pretty much breezed through the tournament as far as I could tell. And then come the grand finals, they did go up against each other, and that's going to be the replay that we will be looking at here. So guys, we're going to give a quick call to Krock. Hey Krock, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm fine, dude. How's it going with you?
Not bad. Just for those of you tuned in, joining me is Ghosty Gamer's Krock, who was at India Gaming Carnival, man. So tell me, how was the event?
Well, to start off, the event was there wasn't an event, and when I reached there about 2 days before the event was about to start, and we got news that the contractors for the computer hardware and electricity and the generator, they had raised their prices to double, and so the event organizers had to skip out on them, and they had no clue what to do. And then started our rush to, we scampered around to get things into action because we knew Orange and Mith were coming, and even after getting a few warning messages, they still insisted that this thing was real, and they came. So we had to put up a show, and that's what we did after that. So we got a few guys who obliged us with providing us, computer hardware, PCs. The PCs honestly were really not that good, but we kept a separate sort of segment for high-end games where we could, play those like Call of Duty, Battlefield 3, and StarCraft. Then came the first day where actually the whole thing just got pulled off because of a generator mishap, and they didn't have enough fuel or what. I mean, their excuses were just absurd. But we tried to put a brave face, because on the first day, Mith was present on the scene, and in that way, Orange was really smart. I mean, I thought it was a smart move on their behalf, coming on the second day, but it actually turned out that they were just clueless about the whole thing. But anyway, so Mith was there. They saw how shanty the tables were, how poorly executed the whole thing was. And even on the first day, Battlefield 3, StarCraft, and these two games got cancelled because apparently the community who got together to do them wasn't given enough of support, like in the form of electricity, the basic electricity. I mean, that was a huge issue. So they pulled out. and they hosted their own little tournament outside at a private place. And
Okay.
the videos are up, and it was quite a friendly affair, and no prizes were given, obviously, but at least people who came to play got to play, and that's the ultimate motto that we set out with, that we knew this is going to be a sham, this is not going to happen, but we need to do something about it, because believe me, if we weren't there, the gates would have remained closed, and Myth, Orange, whoever came would have had to go back right from the gates.
Yep.
So hats off to the volunteers who worked their asses off for 2 straight days, working at nights, and throughout the day, barely getting sleep, and that happened. So I would stick to the Dota part of the whole thing, because the Counter-Strike, I tried to keep away from Counter-Strike. There were many controversies regarding the other games, but Dota was our game, and I think we pulled it off. We just managed to pull it off. So yeah, that's about it. And there's been a lot of talk about all this M5 being sued and the conflict and clashes. I don't really know how much truth is in either of the argument, because from my sources I get information that the hotel is really secured, and cases have been filed. The hotel has filed cases on M5's behalf that things have been stolen, but honestly I don't see it happening, because the hotel was kind of like a 5-star hotel, and gaining access into the room is really a big deal in such a reputed hotel. So that's one thing. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, let's just stick to Dota now.
Yeah.
The first day, actually, we just couldn't do anything. There was nothing on the place, and so we eventually started on the second day. When Orange came, I met Orange on the gates. We escorted them in, and we came. Even the second day, it took a lot of time to start. At around afternoon, it started, and the games were in process. That day, Orange and Myth, I guess they played play day 1. I guess they got to play about 2 games each, or 1 game each. And they qualified for the finals. They got 2 berths reserved for the final round, whatever, the final day.
How many teams were there competing all together, like in the entire tournament for Dota? How many teams were there?
Oh, well, there were 16 teams, including Orange and Myth.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's about it. And I don't know, like, there's so much stuff that I can say, but I really don't know. I mean, it's become so blurry in the past, and I'm so sick of the negativity that I just want to look at the bright side and just look at that game. People who actually came to play, got to play, and went back home safe. So that's really,
I'd say there is some good things that came out of it. It's just that the bad things that happened there, it's just the actual state of the tournament, the quality of the event, the fact that they got these prestigious teams come from overseas and then show up to wooden tables, just that kind of setting is probably the disappointing thing. But I mean, as you said, the good thing to come out of it is that matches were played, a tournament was held, and they went there to play Dota, or teams went there to play StarCraft 2, and they still managed to play StarCraft 2. They still managed to actually compete, which is what it comes down to, being a gamer. So I mean, yeah, there's definitely some good things. It's just been overshadowed by all the negativity, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't hide from the negativity, and it's going to be there forever. I mean, the image of India has been tarnished. I can't deny that. But there's not much we could do about it. I mean, even if people, like, I don't know. I mean, there's really not much we could do more than we did.
Yeah. Okay.
In the end, it was just like the organizers were just so fucking dumb. I mean, they really didn't know. I mean, imagine the organizer doesn't even know what Goshu Gamers is, and he wants to host a Dota tournament. Every trailer of the event that came out had the trailer of Blizzard Dota, a game that was teased at BlizzCon, and it was ridiculed for being, it's just the Blizzard Dota thing that's not even in beta right now. That trailer was put into the trailers for IGC. It's just ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, I think it's one of those things. You can host a Dota tournament with fairly easily without too many costs and stuff. But for when you don't know anything about how to do that, that's when you start to have to say, okay, it'll cost us something. And it seemed like the organizers wanted to sort of take the easy road, hire some. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened with the Dota organization, but like you said, when you got there, and in the end, it was the Frank from Orange Esports who ended up running pretty much half the show there for Call of Duty, Dota. He basically ran the thing, and he wasn't there to run the tournament. He was there with Orange Esports, but in the end, it was volunteers who ended up sort of running half the stuff.
Yeah, a big shout out to Frank from Orange. I mean, he really ruled the show. I mean, he just got things into action, and I mean, people were so lazy, you know, things weren't happening fast enough for them, and he just got people into action and, you know, made it happen.
Yep.
So really, huge respect to that guy.
Cool. Anyways, without much further ado, we're going to get into the game. Are you going to be joining me for the replay? Have you got it?
Orange versus Myth, right?
Yes. That is correct.
I got it.
I've just loaded it up now. We're going to be popping into the game here. Without spoiling too much, was this? Did it feel like it was a good finals for you, or like what did? I mean, I guess it was probably the most hyped up match of the tournament for the Dota tournament part. But did it deliver?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to see Mushi's Kunkka, and it was just awesome watching it. You know, for him playing Kunkka was a dream come true. And, you know, live, being there, I mean, although I couldn't watch it much, but I had to stream, but it's just awesome. Although it turned out to be a little bit of a stomp by the end, but, you know, it was nice. It was a nice match. Also, an important thing to note is TNK, their captain, wasn't able to make it to the finals. He had a flight to catch and exams in Thailand, so he didn't make it.
I was about to say, I just opened up the replay. I'm like, Toys is playing? Isn't that the Mith Trust manager?
Yep. He's the manager, and he had to step. You know, he stood in for them.
Okay. So that could have affected them quite. I mean, that would affect the team quite significantly when it's your captain as well, or any player, and especially. I mean, being a manager myself, I know what it's like. The team doesn't really want you being their stand-in because you don't practice with them much. You do other stuff, and yeah, being a having to stand in for the team can sort of affect them quite a lot.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, have you got? Tell me when you've got the replay up and ready to go. We can make sure we are synced together so we don't start getting confused.
Okay. Just a moment.
Yeah, no problem.
Is my audio fine and all? Like, it's all cool?
It seemed to be. When you first came on, it was a bit quiet, but I turned you up since then, so it should be fine. It's just Skype. Skype does this annoying thing where as soon as you start a Skype call, the volume on everything else on your computer gets like put down to like 20%. So.
All right.
It should be all good now.
So I'm in game right now, and I'm at and the replay is at it's just started. I mean, at what point are you?
I'm paused at 142 at the top, or 20 seconds at the bottom.
Okay, 142.
Yep. At the top, so it's counting down from 142.
All right. I'll just reach there and pause. And we're set. Oh, all right. I'm at 142.
All right. Yeah. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
So
all right,
there we go.
The game. Yeah.
All right. So this is Orange versus Mith Trust. Orange are over on the Sentinel team. Mith Trust on the Scourge team. We haven't got any bans and picks information, but that's gonna not matter all too much. As far as Orange are concerned, they're on the Sentinel team. They're running a Witch Doctor, Chen as their two supports. Chen going to be in that jungle. Witch Doctor supporting Kunkka, who is going to be played by Mushi. They've got a DK roaming with them as well to towards bottom. I imagine DK will head towards the mid lane a bit later, solo that mid lane. And finally, for Orange Esports, we've got Prophet, who is going to be soloing that top lane. He's got the Treants at level 1, probably going to look to do some maybe creep skipping behind the tower to pull the wave towards him. And that rounds off the Orange side. Over for Mith Trust, we've got a Weaver, Earthshaker, Chaos Knight, Ancient Apparition, and finally, bottom lane, we've got the Puck being played by L3 and U. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this draft lineup? I mean, do you think a lot of this game was decided over the draft, or has it come down to a lot of the play?
Well, I think it's the draft. I mean, also the play, I guess. I mean, the Weaver actually. I wouldn't want to spoil it for anyone, but at this point, they probably are evenly balanced because we do know that Kanka is really vulnerable in the lane.
Yep.
It's 6.73 and. It's not the 6.74 version. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is the splash AoE a fixed amount on the 6.74, or is it like?
I have honestly not read much of the changelog. All I know is that Kunkka got buffed. I don't know really how he got buffed, but this is the old version, so he's not as strong as he is in 6.74. But yeah, like you said, I definitely agree. Moment, he's weak in lane.
All right. Well, they have a Furion, which is always a threat. I mean, a perma pick, almost a perma pick in all of the games, and they have a Chen, so that push strat can really work out for them, and it really helps. And the whole team synergy seemed really good in this game. Although I before the game started, I was like looking at the way Orange performed in Philippines. I thought maybe Orange wasn't in their best shape, but this game really changed my mind.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, they didn't do all that well while in the Philippines. They didn't do. They didn't do poorly by any means, but they didn't get. They weren't consistently getting top placings. I think some of the sorts of smaller local tournaments they went in, they did all right in. But in the end, the final tournament they played, they got second place to Mineski, I believe. But before then, in the prestigious Gigabyte Mineski Pro Gaming League tournament, they didn't even place, I believe. So. They definitely didn't do all that well, but I think part of the thing with this format here is they had a lot of warm-up matches against sort of the smaller local Indian teams, and that could have maybe helped them out a bit.
Yeah, maybe. But honestly speaking, the warm-up matches with the Indian teams were just a stomp, honestly speaking. Most of them ended below the 30-minute mark, and there were only 2 games which made it past the 30-minute mark. One was 32 and one was 38. So it was honestly really underwhelming.
Yep, and we will see DK. He gets a bit of a pressure put on him there. The CK-AA, that's a very strong dual lane. I mean, you've got the way that CK works with AA, both his Blink Strike and his Reality Rift and his stun work very well with the AA Cold Feet. You're almost guaranteed to have the Cold Feet effect latch on. But it just forces DK to pop a salve. He's going to be looking to get that early bottle up, I imagine, here. Chen, no ganks as of yet. I mean, it's a hard lane to gank. Puck is just going to be playing it safe, and the problem is, though, Puck is not getting any levels because of this Witch Doctor, and that... I mean, Mushi's just free farming. That's going to be a big problem for Mith to deal with later on. Top lane, Prophet is up against the Weaver, and because of the Prophet actually did some creep sipping there, so fairly even there. And, I mean, for me, the big problem here is for Mith is that the lane they're losing at bottom is a Puck who is level 1, whereas Orange in all 3 lanes are getting farm and XP. I mean, even DK at mid is at least getting some farm, even though he's up against a very tough lane. The other 2 lanes for Orange are actually going really well. It's just one lane they're sort of not doing great in, but, I mean, DK's level 4, while Puck is level 1.
Yeah.
And, I mean... Mushi, like you said at the start, Mushi Kunkka is going to be a sight to see, and I can just tell now the amount of farm he's getting. We will see First Blood go down at mid, the ES roaming in, picking up that kill. Haven't seen much of the ES so far, but did manage to come in for that kill, and he's going to now head towards bottom lane, because Orange are going for an early push with this Chen. They've got the Bassi ring, that gives them the plus armor. They've also got that siege creep coming in. And if they need, I mean, Prophet can even TP in at any time of the game. We're going to see... Oh, Fissure actually misses Witch Doctor. They put the Cold Feet on him without the Fissure, though. That's going to hurt him. There's the Prophet TP. They take out one. They take out the AA, and Witch Doctor trying to just keep himself alive. Going to walk past this tower. They're not doing much damage to the tower, but they managed to pick up a kill, which is going to make it worthwhile. And now Kunkka... just cleaving away at this creep wave. They may actually be able to get this tower. ES is popping the clarity. He doesn't have mana for a fissure yet. He will soon. Chaos Knight is roamed down towards bottom there. Orange actually see him, so they're pinging that away. And for now, 1-1. Mith picking up that first blood. And Weaver actually free farming away at top lane, so not going to... It's definitely going to be something that Orange will have to look out for at this rate, although they do have a Kunker of their own who is free farming. As far as picks in the actual tournament itself go, I mean, was there like a bit of a trend? Were there some popular heroes for Orange and Myth Trust, or was this something sort of a new draft that both teams pulled out this match?
Well, overall, Vivo was a top pick. Furion was a top pick and ban both. And
Yep.
we saw DK, Dragon Knight, being picked up quite often in all of the games, be it the Indian teams or Myth and Orange. Both of them, all of them, like in fact, picked up DK quite a bit.
Yep.
Kunkka was actually picked up. This is the first time Mushi has picked up a Kunkka. But there was one more time in the tournament where Team Error from India picked up a Kunkka.
Okay.
Even that was a good game, yeah.
And as far as like the... sorry, just to mention that, we did see a gank down on bottom at Puck. That Orange are actually going to get this T1 tower, so right away it looks like Orange are the ones being more aggressive, looking to push down towers quickly with this Chen, using that profit gank. And back on the topic of picks, as far as the Indian teams go, you mentioned they got... A lot of the games were quite one-sided and stomps, but as far as the metagame there in Indy, is it quite different? Like, do they pick sort of different style of heroes and have a different style of play to the rest of Southeast Asia when they're versing each other, or is it fairly similar?
I think it's fairly similar. In fact, the games that I've seen have been really similar. Standard picks, standard bans, and you just get to see a Bat, Furion,
Yep.
an Earthshaker, a Chen. Enchantress, although is really rare in Indian games at the moment, but you definitely get to see a lot of the current metagame heavy heroes in Indian scene. And thanks to RGC for that. I mean, it's because of RGC that they have exposure to all the Singapore teams, the Malaysian teams, that they can play along with them. And it's been 1 year since RGC came up. So they've had that for quite a while.
Yep. Yep. And...
But there's nothing like the wacky Philippines, strategy. I mean, there's nothing like Indian specific to that.
Yeah.
It's pretty generic standard stuff.
Yeah, well, I'd say the Philippines kind of strategies are becoming more stock standard because there's so many Philippines teams rising to the top nowadays that it's almost we're going to see more teams using those kind of picks. And mid lane, we do see 4-second stun on DK. DK in a bit of trouble here. Fissure, it looks like KYXY will go down. And a fairly straightforward kill there. That's what Myth Trust needed. They need to start getting some kills in their favor. For me, the Myth Trust lineup, it's limited because they don't have any pushing power. If they fall behind early, they can't just push down some towers to catch up quickly. All they can really do is maybe look for a teamfight using their Puck AA combo. They've got some nice teamfight with the Puck initiation, ES Fissure, the AA ultimate, but right now getting out-leveled and out-laned, they can't really catch up in terms of gold in any way all that easily. So I definitely think Orange do have a more versatile lineup here.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
And we will see even the tier 2 tower at bottom being pressured a little bit. It's taking about 500 damage. Mid lane though, we're going to see Profit TP and they're looking for a gank. Not going to get there in time, but now Orange are... this is just 8 minutes in and Orange are grouped up as 5 at mid to push. And Myth Trust aren't really in position to defend it yet because Weaver doesn't really want to TP in. Weaver just wants to keep getting whatever farm he can. And with Profit summons the Treants, Chen creeps, and the DK ultimate form, they've got a lot of pushing power. And here comes a TP. It's going to be Weaver. And he immediately gets stunned. It's not going to take too much damage here. The cask is bouncing around a little bit. But, I mean, they TP in, but they haven't really got the abilities yet, or the levels. They haven't got their level 6 spells. Puck is still level 5. AA is still level 5. I mean, they've got an ES Fissure, but that's about it. Orange, I mean, if Orange force them to all come mid, they're quite happy just to back off a little bit and go farm. And we will see it's gank on mid lane. They take out one, although it is at the cost of the AA's life. DK has a bug on him, though. It's going to give vision and also lower his armor quite a bit, but DK is so tanky. 4-second stun actually finds him. Although he does get sent back to base by Chen. Nice use of the Holy Persuasion there.
Yep.
And so far, I mean, Extinct is Chen is something to watch out for. He plays it very, very well, and we will see Puck now at mid, caught out, test of faith, finds him, and this tier 1 tower will go down. So, I mean, any exchange of kills, I mean, even if it only goes slightly in Orange's favor, they're going to look to take towers. And there you see, that's how Mith Trust will be looking to defend. Fissure plus AA ultimate. Chen gets down low. But they don't actually finish him off. That's the problem, though. They need to get those kills. They need someone there. They need someone with some mobility. Like, for me, the problem is if they had something like a Queen of Pain in their draft, it would have been a lot stronger, because when the AA ultimate goes in with the Fissure, they have someone who can blink in and finish off those kills. But with their current heroes, there's not really anyone they can use to get those kills.
Exactly. And Weaver chooses to farm all the time. I mean, he rarely participates in a gank. And the build that he chooses to go is quite defensive as well. He's, by the looks of it, he's going for a Linken's. And
yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've seen the replay, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But yeah, he chooses to go for a really safe build instead of a DPS build.
Well, for me, it's safe, but it's actually not. If you wanted to go for a safe build, you should be going for something like a Vanguard or a Hood, because Lincoln is. Look at this. He spent 2k gold and he hasn't actually got any extra survivability yet. That's what I don't like about Lincoln's, is that Perseverance. You spend 2k gold on Perseverance and it doesn't actually give you any survivability. It just gives you regen. And even when you get that ultimate orb, it gives you some stats. But getting something like a Vanguard is much cheaper. And here we're going to see they go in. Chaos Knight, nice place Fissure there. I mean, they're going to stop. Orange are looking for these kills, looking for these pushes, but Mith Trust so far are doing an okay job at stopping them.
Yeah. The problem with regen-based items is that team competitive play doesn't really go along with regen. You just need bulk of stats or a mana pool or a health pool. Regen really doesn't help in the game, because everything happens in a fraction of a second and you really don't have time for that to take effect.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's why you see when in terms of regen, I wouldn't say regen. I'd say passive regen, such as like stuff like, I mean, Perseverance is somewhat unnecessary, but stuff like Mech and Pipe, I'd say those are the kind of items which are becoming more essential, and as a result, you're not seeing teams get these sort of slow regen items like Lincoln's. Even items like Heart. Obviously Heart's a bit more expensive and gives a lot of HP, so it's still somewhat useful, but the early Perseverance is not going to be all that popular. I remember, like, you'd see heroes like Morphling and Medusa always rushing that Perseverance, but nowadays it's just not as effective because teams go for these big mid-game pushes when you need the Pipe and Mech more.
Alright, alert, watch out for top.
Yep, and wow, big boat, oh my gosh, ES goes down with a Fissure. DK actually gets sent back to base, and double kill for the DK. Kunka, Mushi with the torrent boat there. That was spot on. I mean...
Yeah, that was something that the crowd roared on, you know. Like, they were just targeting a DK, three of them. It was Laquez with the Weaver and three of them in the forest. And the whole of Orange, you know, knew something was going to happen there. They rushed top and just countered them totally.
Wow.
And you should have seen, I mean, you should have been there to believe it. I mean, the crowd just went nuts when, you know, everything landed spot on. The ship went, the torrent came, and people were killed. So it was really fun. Yep.
No, that was a great... It's one of those things, and having a Kunka as well, he's got such long-range torrent and boat. You can really catch the Mith Trust by surprise from the fog there. And we're going to see Prophet in a bit of trouble here. He's been... Oh no, so not Prophet. Prophet actually has been spotted. They've pinged him, but they're not going to go on anything. As Prophet with the Chen, Witch Doctor DK, just going to keep farming up these neutrals here. And Prophet actually going to TP out to his own neutrals. Right, I mean, Orange right now, they're just taking it slow. They're farming it up, increasing their lead. They don't feel any need to... I mean, as you said, Weaver going for a very defensive build. And this Lincoln, even once he farms the Lincolns, it's not going to really help his team out all that much. He's not going to be able to just run in and be all that tanky. If they pick up a Sentry Ward or a Gem, which they will have, I mean, he can still go down to just right-click damage on its own.
Exactly. In my opinion, a Vitality booster and then a Hood is really the ideal way to go. For a ranged hero. When you, even if there's no other way and you just have to go defensive, a Vitality booster and a Hood, that's it. You're set for early to mid-game. And after that, you can build up on anything.
Yep, and we will see It looks like Chen's picked up some arcane boots. He's probably going to go for that mech. Haven't really started building for that. Witch Doctor going for the Urn of Shadows. Mushi on Kunkka. He's not even picked up any sort of hard carry items. He only has Phase Boots, Bracer, Ring of Health. Probably going to pick up a Vanguard here, I imagine. Or possibly just go straight for that Battle Fury if he wants some damage. Because right now, I mean, his team, they've got a lot of survivability with a DK who has a Vanguard. I mean, maybe Mushi can just go for some damage items here. He could afford to. Top lane, Weaver and Puck, they're chipping away at this tier 1 tower, but I don't think Orange are going to want to give them any free towers. Any tower that Mith Trust get will help get their team gold and help them get sort of closer and closer, tighten that gap between the two teams. So, yeah, Mushi going to come in, make sure he doesn't let anything happen.
Time-lapse has already been used.
Oh, wow, and they're going to pop the Sprout as well. Weaver, he's stuck.
Oh, that's a nice Sprout.
But they need a Torrent or something. It's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they actually took out DK with 4 heroes. This time the 4-man gank on the TK actually was successful.
Yeah.
Weaver will survive though. He's going to just scurry away using that Shikuchi as Mith Trust. They're still pushing away at bottom. This is what I like. This is what they need to do. They need to start getting some towers in their favor. Orange are on the top lane. They're going to be pressuring the tier 2 tower very, very soon. You see Witch Doctor putting down a very, very aggressive ward on that high cliff there, but Mith Trust actually spot it, so they know where that ward is, and they're going to be playing around that, but it looks like they don't even want to defend this tier 2 tower. Too much stuff, really. Too many Treants, too many Chen creeps, the Bassi aura, there's just hard to defend from. I mean, even with the Fissure, the AA ultimate, they're going to throw that on the creep wave, but right now, this is not going to be an easy fight for Mith Trust to take. And yeah, we do see Mushi. He's picked up a Vanguard, so he's just going for the pure survivability. Much like the DK, I mean, Orange, the only way, as said, they've got the pushing power in their hand. There's not much pushing power coming from Mith Trust, so what Mith Trust are going to be trying to do is look for the team fights or the ganks, so getting survivability, such as these Vanguards up, is so important. If they can just stay alive, then Mith Trust can't really do all that much.
Exactly.
And we will see chipping away at this tower. I mean, Mith Trust, they're thinking about going in, but they're just not finding the opening. Chaos Knight will pop his ultimate. He actually uses up a fair bit of his mana. He's going to go in from behind. The tower goes down. They go on the Chen. Torrent goes on him, not going to help him. Chen pops the ultimate, and now Puck goes in with the Dream Coil. Not going to be enough. Mushi with the boat, not going to actually find anything, but it will give his team that nice little aura, as Mushi is taking a lot of damage here, needs to get out. We do see Chen finally goes down. Mushi being chased by this Weaver should go down. He's going to pop the TP. He gets taken out though. Ancient Apparition picking up the kill, but the entire time, DK solo pushing at bottom. Tier 2 tower is down, and the Tier 3 tower is being chipped away at, down to 1k HP. That is, I mean, it's only a small win for Mith Trust. I mean, sure, they got 2 kills, but they lost the Tier 2 tower at top, and their Tier 3 tower at bottom is getting chipped away at. So, I mean, Orange really, despite losing 2 heroes, is still looking very good.
Yep. They're still leading in the tower count, and hence the gold graph as in Dota 2. Here it would be definitely in favor of Orange at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't have enough gold to support their team. And, I mean, you throw in the AA ultimate, you throw in the Fissure, you throw in the Orb by Puck, and you still can't counter push Chen creeps, Furion's creeps, and a Necromonicon that Furion would probably have by now, I guess.
He's getting close, I would say. He hasn't quite finished that Necro. In 200 gold, he's got his Necrobook 1. But yeah, I mean, the tower. There's currently 5 towers to 0. And if you go back to something like Dota 2 with the gold graph, this would be a massive gold lead for Orange. I mean, you'd be looking at about an 8k gold lead here, I would say. You'd be approaching 10k gold lead because of all those towers. And those towers mean all these support heroes are getting up items. You'll see a mech up on Chen soon. You'll see that Necrobook on Prophet soon. If you look at the Scourge team, their supports have next to nothing. Puck only has Arcane Boots, ES only has Arcane Boots, Ancient Apparition only has regular boots, and, I mean, heroes like Witch Doctor even has finished up the Urn. I mean, there's just a lot of farm spread out, great farm distribution for Orange, whereas Mith Trust are just, I mean, they're getting a bit desperate here. You can see they've smoked, they've gone through bottom, they're not even farming their lanes. There's farm at mid to take, there's farm at bottom to take, but they're saying, okay, we need to get some kills, but that's going to hurt them in the long run, as they do need to catch up and tighten this gold lead, which they're not doing. And if they're not getting those kills with those smoke ganks, then they're falling further and further behind. Were there any of the games between Orange or Mith Trust and any of the Indian teams sort of quite close at all? I mean, you mentioned most were stomps or most were less than 30 minutes, but were some of them, I mean, a bit more interesting?
Well, slightly. I think based on the timestamps, you can say that Rocket.rog gave them a tough time. I think their time extended to about 32 or 38 minutes. And the second team was Error, who actually picked up Kanka against Orange. Unfortunately, I couldn't really catch most of the match since I had to do stuff around and manage stuff. But I think those two replays should have some entertainment in them, definitely.
Yeah, and so as far as it was Error who ended up getting third place, was it?
Yep, Error actually displaced Rocket.rog from the top Indian team's position, and surprisingly, in fact, shockingly, Rocket didn't even finish in the top 5 on any place. They were completely thrown out of the tournament.
Was that because of how the bracket worked, or did they actually lose to some of these other Indian teams?
Well, they actually lost to Error in one game.
Okay.
That was quite an epic match.
Yep.
And that kind of decided and sealed their fate. So that's it.
All right. Well, we will see mid lane DK with the DD rune. He's going to be doing a lot of damage to this tower, especially. I like what DK is doing here. He's level 12, but he only has level 1 ultimate because the level 1 ultimate's better for pushing. And right now, Orange are all about pushing. They've got... Oh, they haven't actually got the mech up yet. They've only got the buckler, but they've just got a lot of auras. The DK, the poison attack, the bonus damage to towers. They've got that Necrobook up now as well. Tier 2 tower goes down, and that's the final outer tower, as Mith Trust haven't even taken a single outer tower yet. And, I mean, Orange could back off. They could take Roche. They could just farm out their lanes, because both top and bottom, there's a lot of farm. They're in no rush to push for Rax here, because they know they're the ones in control. ES is not even close to that Blink Dagger at the moment. So for now, Orange in kind of cruise control mode. It's going to take something special from Mith Trust to sort of get back into this game with this big gold lead for Orange.
Exactly. I mean, they do have a lot of burst and magical damage at their disposal, but the prime hero, that's Weaver, who should have about a vitality booster and a radiance at least to do sufficient amount of damage, just doesn't have it. He's instead he has a Linkins, and they really can't do much to the team, because Orange has a Vanguard, DK has his armor, DK also has a Vanguard, hoods are there, pipes are there, auras are there, a mech will soon be up, and
yeah, I mean, Weaver has got
one-sided fight.
He's got the highest CS in the game. He's got 37 CS now, which is about 30 higher than the Kunkka. But it's like you said, he's gone Lincolns. They're gonna pick up the kill on the DK. That's probably that's a pretty useful kill for them to get. And they're gonna get the Dream Coil down on Chen, so they may pick up 2 here. They should. Chen with the mech now. That's gonna keep him alive a bit longer. Even the Hand of God gets used, but 2 kills from Mith Trust. So, I mean, as a sort of spectator here, if I didn't know the result here, I'd say this would be okay for Mith Trust. They pick up a tower, they pick up 2 kills. If this Weaver can get their Radiance up in the next couple minutes, I mean, he's got a lot of farm. I mean, as we mentioned, 140 CS at 22 minutes. I mean, he had a really fast Linkens, even though I don't think Linkens was the right item to go. He's got 2.2k gold on top of that, but bottom lane, I mean, Prophet, DK, they can just pressure these lanes. I mean, Orange just have too much of a tower advantage, but I mean, if we even get up that relic, it's hard to say, but unfortunately, right now, without an ES blink, they've got the blink on Puck at least, but Weaver, that Linkens is just a lot of gold gone into something that doesn't help all that much.
True.
And Prophet now, level 2 Necrobook, getting close to that level 3, just needs about 800 more gold. Chen is just farming away, picking up a few more creeps, and I imagine they're going to go look for that push soon. They may wait for that pipe up on DK, but I mean, I don't even know if they need it all that much, although it will help a lot. I mean, AA Ultimate, Puck, AoE. I think when they have that pipe, that's when they can really look to take out Roshan and go push to take Rax when they have the 5 heroes with Aegis, Pipe, and Mech. and they'll just be so far ahead at that point. And we will see Mushi picking up a Lothar's Edge as well, so he's going to have some bonus damage on that first hit, and also a bit more mobility and survivability.
He picks up a haste room.
Yep. Doesn't look like he'll do too much with that though. He is just going to, or he may just run all the way bottom just to go farm. But yeah, right now, Orange, yeah, they're taking it slow. They're being patient. This bottom tier 1 tower is actually fairly low. Weaver, nope, not going to go for it, at least right now. His Lincoln's blocks the DK stun, and here we're going to see Weaver. He's gotten the tower down to a deniable range. Needs to be careful, though. And here comes the Torrent, the Cleave. Weaver gets stunned under the tower. He's going to go down. That was a big mistake from him. The tower even gets denied. That hurts. That's kind of the moment where the Mith Trust, their hope was relying on this Weaver to get that Radiance up, to get some farm, and then suddenly that happens. That's where it's something like, oh, your hearts just sink when you see that, if you're Mith Trust, I would feel.
Yeah, true.
That's the kind of mistake which can sort of ruin any chance of a comeback. But they are smoked. They're at mid. I mean, they're going to have to try defend this bottom lane push, but right now I don't know if they can. I mean, there's just so much survivability. They've got Vanguards, they've got Mech, they've got just summons. They've got this big wall of Chen Creeps, Necrobooks, and Treants. There's no way for heroes like Chaos Knight...
And they've got a Django.
Oh yeah, there's no way for these heroes to get into the fight. Chaos Knight, melee hero, ES is melee. They have to go past the summons, which just act as a bit of a buffer, and as a result, we see the tier 3 tower go down. The Rax looks like it will go down as well, maybe. I think they should be able to get at least the melee Rax. AA Ultimate will go flying in, and Orange may be going to play it a bit safe. They're playing fairly far back here. DK's in the front lines. He's got the Vanguard and Hood, though. Gets mech'd. Chen can send him back home if he needs to. As, wow, yes, not bad ultimate, but not going to be enough. Kunku goes in with the boat, takes out one, and CK going to be the next to go down with a few more right clicks, does go down, and we do see the Chen go down in return. Weaver is sort of doing some light damage, but it just doesn't have the damage needed, and he gets stunned once, twice, Centaur stun, needs to backtrack it, but the DK Flame Breath finishes him off. Bottom Rax goes down, and Orange up 13 kills to 9 only, but with a huge lead in terms of towers, racks, and just general infrastructure. They're going to go for mid lane as well.
Exactly.
I mean, this is just 26 minutes in, then. I mean, it's not like they've got... I mean, they're using a hero like Kunkka, but the problem for me is, yeah, Weaver not able to do all that much to defend. Even though they've got the ES, the AA, the fissure with the AA ultimate, it's just not enough, because it's more like a one-time thing. If Orange don't die when they do that, they mech, they pipe up, they use their Vanguards to just give them tankability, and then suddenly, well, there's not much they can do once that Fissure and AA Ultimate are on cooldown. And this...
Orange, like... Yeah, they went into the game with the idea of sustaining whatever Mith could do against them.
Yeah.
And they successfully pulled it off. I mean, they can sustain practically everything that Mith throws at them, be it Nob, anything. I mean, even a Witch Doctor getting up a farm of a Django is the clear indication that, you know, things have just not gone right for Mith.
Yeah, and this game really shows the importance of of pushing, but not going for a push lineup, but just going for a lineup where if you get an advantage, you can push down more and more towers. Because the fact that Orange have taken so many towers, I mean, they haven't got a hard push lineup. It's not like they picked all pushing heroes. They have a DK, they have a Kunkka, they have a Witch Doctor. I mean, these aren't sort of super pushing heroes, but the towers that they get help them get up all these key items, like the Django and Witch Doctor, like the Mech, like the Pipe, and the Mech, the Pipe, the Vanguards make them impossible to kill. If you can't kill them, well, you can't stop them from pushing. And Mushi going to throw down that boat near the fountain. They take out one. This is going to be just about GG. There's 5 Raxes down. Only the one top range Rax remains. Orange are going to back off. Probably just take it down. This is a grand finals. You don't want to risk doing what has been done in the past where you think the game is won and then end up losing. So, Mega Creeps it is. And, yeah, I mean, like you said, this game was a bit one-sided. As far as finals go, it wasn't. I mean, there was that one team fight at top was probably the highlight for me, but there we go. It's going to be GG.
That one team fight where they pick up a Chen and a DK was just that little bit of optimism that you get from this game. That Mith still stand a chance, but after that, it's just Orange on a roll.
Yeah, But yeah, I mean, that was convincing. I mean, so with the team, was it a nice atmosphere there at the end of the match when Orange won? I mean, were they excited, happy, or was it sort of spoiled by the actual event not being run so well?
It's hard to say. I mean, they were really there. I mean, they were kind of happy that they won. The game was fair. The computers were good. The hardware, the setup, the arrangements, the infrastructure was in place for them. But the overall event, if you talk about, was, as we all know, it was really sad. But Orange seemed really happy with the win, and they seemed happy with the fact that games were actually played, they actually got to play, they actually won it, and they also received a mock check of some sort. I really don't know if they'd end up getting the money or not, but that's between them and the organizers. But they seemed happy, and while leaving, they all of them really seemed happy, and yeah, they seemed satisfied with the victory.
And as far as, I mean, Mith Trust, they didn't have their captain. They were playing with their manager as a stand-in. I mean, for me, that makes the final a bit disappointing in some ways. I mean, as a viewer, I want to see both these teams in full force, and not just missing one of their players, but missing their captain. It means because a lot of that last game came down to the draft, and missing your captain, that's probably one of your main influence on the draft. So I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, it's kind of like, it was congratulations to Orange. I don't want to take anything away from them. They're one of the best teams in Southeast Asia, but Mith Trust without their captain, it's just hard for me to, I don't know, fully appreciate that game as a grand finals.
Well, you can say that is one factor that came in, and in fact, Toy, their coach cum manager, also after the match was over, he actually came and spoke to me at length, and they even said that giving away DK was a mistake. I mean, DK is considered to be this really powerful hero in the current metagame, who can tank a lot, who can push a lot, and that he's like the next Balanar.
Yeah.
And I mean, what Balanar was, DK has taken his position now in the metagame. So he seemed to be, he was okay with it. I mean, they had their reasons. TNK just had to leave, and they said, we're all game for it. So he seemed okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah, the game did turn out to be a little underwhelming because of the captain missing.
All right. Well, anyways, we're going to go into a quick break now. We're going to have Orange versus Space Monkeys coming up for the Razer Dota 2 tournament, which is being held in Malaysia, the top 4 Malaysian teams. Thanks for joining me. For those of you who don't know, this is Ghost2 Gamer's Krock joining me. He was at the India Gaming Carnival. He was one of the people, one of the volunteers who made it possible, made the tournament actually happen. So huge thanks for you and your efforts, and thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. I really had a great time, and I hope people really got to know some stuff about IGC. I'll be also posting a little blog or a news about it on Ghost2 Gamers as soon as I'm better in health. So yeah, I'll be doing that in a few days.
All right, no problem, man. Well, I'll talk to you later then. I'm going to go get myself a quick bite to eat before hopping into this semi-final.
Sure thing. All
right, see you.
See ya.
Alrighty guys, that was Krock joining me for the India Gaming Carnival segment. You can hear what he's had to say about the tournament as well as the grand finals. So anyways guys, we're going to have the Razer Dota 2 Malaysia Invitational Tournament with Space Monkeys versus Orange Esports coming up next. That's scheduled to start in about 5-10 minutes time guys. So we're going to go into a quick commercial break. Stay tuned and we'll be live soon.